We've been waiting a long time for someone like you to arrive. Please, visit the far table. This is where the real game begins.
Has this ever happened to you? A traveler from beyond the sun, but he's French, gives an evil red knife to your enemy's great-great-grandfather, which lets him become super rich by murdering a bunch of people, but then gives you and your dad a blue stone and says go clean up the red knife guy's mess on a haunted boat, but I'm gonna sit back and harvest all the souls y'all disturb while y'all figure it out. This is Echo Night, otherwise known as Night, and it's a tale of greed, power, and ancestral guilt, but also of compassion and fixing the mistakes of our parents. Echo Night is an excellent first-person horror adventure by FromSoft's from that fun part of the 1990s when they were still figuring out their genres. I purchased my sister a used copy of Echo Night long ago on half.com after my family finally got our PlayStation, which, mind you, was over a year after the release of the PlayStation 2. Some family had donated their then obsolete PSX to the church sale, and Walmarts weren't stocking that many PlayStation 1 games anymore. So young Mothy went online and looked up used, scary, T-rated PS1 games and found Echo Night, 19 years before we would eventually get into the Souls games as grown-ups. I didn't even realize the same company made both games until after beating Dark Souls 1 and 2. But way back when, Echo Night was a formative horror game for me with its clever puzzle gameplay, tragic story, and top-notch voice acting and aesthetics.
What the hell?
So it was an obvious topic to cover on the channel. So let's you and I spin up a save file and learn the fantastical tale of Richard Osmond and his many magical stones. We're keeping the intro real short today, but as we start, if you enjoy the content, do please hit some positive interactions on the video for me because that will help me keep making content like this for y'all. Thanks so much. The root menu cutscene of Echo Night establishes our setting for the majority of the game. In 1913, the ocean liner Orpheus vanishes without a trace in the North Pacific Ocean, somewhere west of Puerto Vallarta. We're gonna hang out on that cool boat soon, but first, step into the shoes of quiet man Richard Osmond in the year 1937. We left home a while ago to live alone, and we haven't been in contact with our father for many years until today, when we received an envelope he mailed us containing nothing but a small key. Sure, that's mysterious, but before we can decide what to do with that, the phone rings. It's the Anchor City Police Department. Our dad's house just had a major fire. What a coincidence on Key Envelope Day of all days, and our dad, Henry Osmond, is nowhere to be found. They want us to come out and see the place, maybe help them answer some questions and see if we can't find a hint to Henry's whereabouts, so we hitch a ride with the fuzz and pull up to our dad's half-burnt house. The fireplace is empty, so the fire didn't start there, but a broken oil lamp on the floor suggests this might have been an arson, especially with Henry gone missing. We're given the chance to look around. Wouldn't you know it, that key Dad sent us opens a door in his house, and if we wind this old clock, a secret passage pops open behind it. Clearly our dad meant us to find this, and he must have burned his house as a way to summon us here. Bit dramatic, but we have been ignoring his texts. Or maybe he thought if he sent a real message, it would be intercepted. A red book without a title, placed prominently in the passage, causes our first whoosh into another time and place. These whooshes are just gonna happen in Echo Night, and quite often. When dreaming, I'm guided to another world time and time again. Whooshing is paradoxically enabled by a blue crystal that we don't have yet, but will have as a result of the events that whooshing around the timeline enables in the first place? Don't worry too hard about the logistics. Just know that our character in this game is a low-level time wizard. In this scene, we're aboard a train out of Anchor City, which location my best guess places somewhere in the coastal Northern California, given that the boat we'll be on later sails in the Pacific. The train has just entered a very long tunnel, which is perfect for a symbolic showdown of fates. In our starting car, this red-haired youth and the train conductor have little to say, so exit the train car and head one car back, where we meet the two most important characters in the game. It's a little girl in pink and her tight-lipped grandfather. Their relationship seems tense. The girl doesn't really want to be here. Bad vibes. But they don't have much to say either, so as we return to our initial car, that red-haired youth enters the old man car, locking the door behind him. We don't have the key to follow after, but we can spy on their showdown from the roof. Well, that dashing young man is actually our own dad, Henry. The year is 1899, 38 years prior to Arson Day. We haven't even been born yet. Henry Osmond has been tracking down grouchy old man William Rockwell for years, ever since William murdered Henry's family, and this is finally his chance for revenge. Unfortunately, William knew Henry was closing in and brought the girl along as a human shield, his own granddaughter. This old man does not play around. Indeed, Henry balks, unwilling to risk the girl's life, so William pops our dad before toe-kicking his head, completely uncalled for, and then walking off to bribe the train officer not to come investigate the noises. But this is not where Henry's story ends. We know Henry lives to commit arson in 38 years. and because we are his son. Our son. With William temporarily gone, Henry offers a small blue stone to the girl for protection, and we get her name, Kreia Rockwell. He also casually lets her know that her grandfather is possessed by demons. She's 5 years old, by the way, before retreating to the back of the train. But William pursues him out there, and we see just how possessed by demons he is. William produces a glowing red knife that appears to have quite a hold on him, but Henry takes a dive, starting a very long walk home before William can stab him to death. All of a sudden, we're the only witness. William flashes his knife, turning creepily toward us, just as we're whooshed back to present day and finish picking up Dad's red book. So, by now we've met the game's real two main characters, a blue stone and a red stone, which is embedded inside a knife. The red stone apparently possesses its holder, making them ruthless, and the blue stone, well, as far as we've seen, its one power might be protection. Henry did take a bullet in the chestoberry, but it seemed to curve around his vital organs, and that might be thanks to the blue gem. But I also think the blue gem is what enables whooshing around in time. We don't possess it yet, but fate seems to want us in the blue stone's orbit, so maybe we don't need to hold the blue stone for it to affect us. Plus, why else would we be able to time travel? So, our sensitive soul dad is an artist, and we find some of his art in his basement. If we set up some statues to reveal a painting of the Orpheus, that boat that went missing, it will whoosh us back to November 1913 at a very specific moment in time. After everyone aboard the ship died, but before the vessel went missing. Now, I usually think it's cringe to look for too deep of a meaning in symbolism, but the name Orpheus is too heavy-handed to ignore. In the Greek myth, Orpheus was a musician who was allowed into the underworld to retrieve his dead wife, and he almost makes it out with her, but at the last moment he hesitates and loses her forever. This sets up a theme for Echo Knight of the defiance of death, and it's also hinting, or really screaming at us, that maybe we won't have a happy ending. But also, William Rockwell owns this boat, and he named it the Orpheus. He's probably mostly going for the defiance of death part.
Who are you?
Yeah, so Echo Knight has voice acting, but it's only recorded for characters aboard the Orpheus and in one other special case. I felt weird having to narrate all the action in the opening scenes, but I can let the characters do the talking for most of the game while we're on the boat. I assume the incomplete voice acting was for budgetary reasons, either at the studio or for space on the disc, rather than some deeper commentary. So, like I mentioned, this is the day before the Orpheus vanished, but it seems like the ship's crew and passengers actually died before now. The ship did not sink in a storm. Some other disaster must have occurred before the crewless ship sank. Or teleported.
You shall not leave. You mustn't go outside of this room. Is that understood?
The captain, Greg Capston, that's like if my name was Jim Contents Creator. The undead Captain Greg is surprised to meet a living soul aboard his boat and cautions us not to leave his cabin since there's demons aboard the ship. The demons being likely what killed most of the Shades we'll encounter. The mystery of how everyone died is actually solved pretty soon. But our dad didn't arson his own house and leave us cryptic puzzles just for us to travel back in time and not help these poor souls. Sorry, Captain Capston. These little town shoes are longing to stray. Inside the captain's bedroom is a leather organizer that unlocks dossiers in the menu on every character we meet. In FromSoft fashion, reading the optional text is crucial to understanding the greater story of the game, and for finding out every minor character's name. I know my gameplay experience is definitely more enriched for knowing that the ticket taker on the train flashback was named Frank Kielson, and the police officer at my dad's house was named Marvin Foremast. In fact, everyone's last name in Echo Knight, outside of the Osmond and Rockwell families, is some sort of nautical term. There's a crow nest, there's a rudder. It's quite a coincidence. But really, this pattern probably only emerged because an unserious 90s Japanese translation team needed to invent a lot of English names at once and settled on the obvious theme. These are still better American names than Bobson Dugnut and Sleeve McDykel. Well, the captain's cabinet is fastened shut with a spool of wire, and his bathroom is totally empty, so all we can do is follow the captain outside. Oh, beans. It's one of those demons we were warned about.
It's the light. They're not fond of light. I must fight the power that lurks within this ship. It is my destiny. I will come for you once this ordeal is over with. Stay here until then. You mustn't go down there. Is that understood, Richard?
Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. First, that was our father's voice somehow echoing to us, because he's certainly not with us here on deck. That was some kind of message that Henry must have imbued in his painting of the Orpheus or in that red book we carry. Also, yeah, demons don't like the light. Upon entering a new room in Echo Knight, you'll want to quickly find the lights and turn them on. It sounds simple, but it's an original game mechanic with enough variations that it stays fun. Sometimes turning the lights on is only a matter of scanning for the switch and acting quickly to reach it. Good luck if you spot the light switch on the other side of a large dark room. Other times it's a puzzle to get the lights on. Is there a second switch, a light bulb you need to screw in, or do you accept the risk, try and quickly loot a key item from a dark room, and vamoose? Lighting up the boat also plays well with the slow controls of Echo Knight and the understated sound design. There's very little music or ambient noise in the game. Often the only sound in a room is your own footsteps. So when you enter a new room and hear that giggle, it's a race for your life to either light the place up or get out. Speaking of problems with the lights, this broken fuse box is keeping a few nearby rooms in the dark. Our first area puzzle will be to get that fixed. The stairs down from this hallway are locked and blocked, so there's only one way to move on.
I promised her that I would return one day.
So we've seen the Orpheus is haunted by evil demon ghosts like that girl, but it's also full of the peaceful, often mournful black shades of its deceased crew and passengers. Each of these lost souls is anchored here by unfinished business, a heartache or a fear or a duty left unfulfilled. If I died right now, I'd probably leave a ghost behind for still having not played Sekiro. And the core gameplay loop of Echo Knight is being a time cop, whooshing around to various times and places and solving puzzles in order to put these souls to rest. If we want the good ending. You can tell a lot of these people to get bent if you just want to complete the game fast. In this soul-resting vignette, sailor John Cutter is sad because his fiancée Christina Ratline stood him up the night before he set sail aboard the Orpheus. As it turns out, Christina did come to their meeting spot, almost, but couldn't bear to meet John since she lost her engagement ring on the way. She also lets out a highly suspicious Mary/Maria cough cough. You'd better do something about that cough.
Better do something about that cough.
We can find Christina's lost engagement ring by amusing ourselves on the merry-go-round. In this case, more like a not married go-round, ayo. Echo Knight lets us choose the horse we ride, so I pick white for the Tommy Shelby RP, and it's easy to spot the glow of the missing ring from the moving ride. Return that ring to Christina, but in the meantime, the clock has struck midnight and John had to leave to make report time. It's too late. Christina, heartbroken, though it is her fault she never met up with John, can't wait to part with her ring again and entrusts it to us with another concerning cough. I think our girl might be tubercular and knows that she won't survive until John's trip is over, so she has us forward the ring to John as a way of breaking the news.
Thank you for telling me. I will go to her now.
That causes John's soul to join Christina's in boat heaven, leaving behind a sparkly purple sphere called an astral piece. Don't worry about these for now. Just know we collect one every time we help somebody's soul. Inside the dark pilot house, the light switch glows along the far wall. I don't get there fast enough and Demon Girl dings me. That giggle is so much scarier in the silence than if there was music. There are 2 curing potions in the cabinet in case you take girl damage like I did. Sure wish I had those in high school. Each potion is a full heal, but there are plenty of them to be found, so there's no need to try and ration them for full value. Combat is not a big part of the game. Echo Knight is broken up very cleanly yet seamlessly into puzzle areas. Handfuls of related rooms in one section of the ship, with one larger meta puzzle to solve before the next block of the ship gets unlocked. I think limiting the number of rooms and puzzles open to the player at one time keeps the game highly focused and cozy. We're never paging through 20 inventory items to find the one thing we need, and the mental load of tracking unsolved puzzles is never too much, and we never need to backtrack to a previous area. The term that comes to mind is compassionate game design. Echo Knight is rather player-friendly. We're stuck in these first couple of rooms until we get that fuse box fixed to turn on some unworking lights. It's so dark.
It's so dark.
And the demon girl seems to be tormenting the crew as much as us.
I locked the door. But she'll still come. Why?
Well, to help this nyctophobic sailor, Billy Ballard, we're whooshed back a few months to the docks on April 1913, watching Billy prepare cargo to load aboard the Orpheus. There's nothing to do here except grab a pair of convenient rubber gloves, at which point the girl demon bursts out of a cargo box like Pillsbury dough. Interestingly, this shows that she did not originate from aboard the Orpheus. This girl was hidden in cargo and loaded in intentionally, like Count Dracula with his crates of dirt. It's starting to look like this cruise was supposed to kill its passengers. We're de-whooshed after that, but we did keep those rubber gloves. Perfect for electrical work, wouldn't you say? The gloves will let us safely work with the fuse box, but we still need to find a fuse for it. And by now, we've explored every open room except one. This is the only time the game needs us to tank damage as we rush into the dark storeroom for a wire cutters in the far corner. Good. Now, where did we see a wire to cut?
I have been waiting for you.
A measured, sinister voice comes out of a French-titled book about stars, and we're whooshed to... The wild dogs cry out in the night, longing for some solitary company. We're at an observatory on the edge of existence at an immeasurable time, a real Neil Gaiman type setting. Inside the observatory, if we use that French star book, I'ma just call it Alizé, on this plaque of the sun, that, side note, as a kid I always thought looked like Jesus Christ with his goatee and center part, we're admitted to a strange shop, a bizarre bazaar if you will, and we meet the owner of that voice.
Please, come in.
James Earl Jones from Beyond the Stars is running a cosmological vendor's booth in here.
You don't have to be scared. I just possess an alien power. I am blind. I created that book you possess as a substitute. I am able to see the world through the book as it travels around the world. Yes, the entire world. What's this? You have something interesting. I speak of the sphere you possess. Will you give it to me? Well, in layman's terms, let's just say that it is another type of energy. I have a certain goal I am trying to achieve. I need that sphere. Of course, I shall reward you with something that will be of use to you. How about it? Is there a way I can persuade you?
There's a lot to break down here. This vendor is the only character in the game who doesn't get a name filled in their dossier. This is just the vendor. We met him in an observatory in a pocket dimension. It took a book about stars to get here. He mentions an alien power.
Alien power.
And he's collecting astral pieces. I think it's safe to conclude our man is an extraterrestrial alien. Space Earl Jones. I really can't do better than that. He's watching our journey aboard the Orpheus, and he's all too happy to accept our astral pieces in exchange for holy waters, which are just minor healing potions.
Oh, I almost forgot. Let me give this to you. This stone holds your destiny.
Space Mufasa hands us the broken blue stone as we go to leave, calling it our destiny, the other half of which we saw our father give to the girl Kreia on that train 9 years before the events on the Orpheus. And I want to flash back to that echo of Henry's voice.
I must fight the power that lurks within this ship. It is my destiny.
The idea of destiny keeps coming up. How much of our fate is our own, or did this man influence all the events that brought us and our father to the Orpheus? The final scary thought on the vendor that I want to leave us with is that the Stars book was locked away in a cabinet. Somebody didn't want this book being found and used. Now is a good time to point out that we can read the books in our inventory for even more lore. We could have read that red book from our dad's house at any point, but I wanted to save it until after we met that vendor. 38 years have passed since the day I fought William with the aid of the Blue Stone. My fate has drastically changed ever since William showed up. My mother, my father, everything I ever cared for was taken from me by that knife. I tried to forget it all when that ship disappeared. I wanted to believe that the red stone, that girl, and everything had vanished with the Orpheus. My vengeful wish has been fulfilled. I wanted to believe that. But my fate has much more in store. That voice beckoned me. Now is the time. I must put an end to this all. There is no need to return here. I must go to the ship in the endless sea. So Henry was roped into all of this mess when William used his redstone knife to kill Henry's parents, our grandparents. That's why Henry was on the train that day in 1899, to take revenge on William, / stop the evil possession of the red stone, but we saw him fail to do that. He must not have gotten another shot at William in the following 14 years, but when William disappeared along with the Orpheus in 1913, the danger of the red stone seemed concluded. Until, as he puts it, that voice beckoned me.
Alien power.
Anyway, back on the boat, we can pick up that wire from the floor. We were repairing a fuse box once upon a time. Sort that out, get the power on, and Billy's been saved from the demon up in the chart room.
It's light.
That's worth an astral piece, and he also poops out a key as he departs. This key helpfully landed on a stool within our field of vision, so it's hard to miss, but for the rest of the game, it's a good idea to glance at the floor for ghostly poop items every time we save somebody's soul. It could save you a backtrack.
Please, help us. Help this ship.
Then, having helped his sailors, John and Billy, the captain is able to rest as well. Well, we only have one lock to open. This is our new puzzle hub, the Passenger A deck. I think that would be the real boat word for it. In my brain, I just think of this place as the Red Halls.
Sir, this is a very formal party. Please dress accordingly.
The ship's steward, Peter Schooner, lays out our puzzle, finding formal clothes to be allowed into the dining room. We're turned away until we can sort that out. Let's try another door.
Everyone died. Even that fool Ed. He became crazy after he went into that far room.
The room at the end of the hall makes you crazy. Got it. Then let's start popping open doors that aren't that one. The way the big dark double doors loom at the end of the hallway is a special kind of horror that you only achieve in an understated game like this. The game is not forcing our attention on it. It just lurks there with our imagination trying to grasp what's inside of it. It's very gothic, turn-of-the-screw horror. Well, that drunk passenger was Rob Derrick, and he misses his friend Ed, whom that room somehow victimized. Art supplies in Ed's room tell us that he was a painter, and etched into his table is an account from Ed, apparently written after he opened that room and went crazy. This boat it's over. Everyone has been killed. Those demons. I can't fulfill Rob's. He won't. The meaning of my painting. I suppose over there, to make the drink. Signed, Ed Moring. Now, Ed's message doesn't sound overtly crazy until you zoom in on the texture and realize Ed actually carved those ellipses into his message. The UI wasn't abbreviating. Ed just used more dots than a texting boomer. That is crazy person behavior. Ed's bathroom is upsettingly yellow, which I'm only pointing out because this game has a ridiculously high production budget for bathrooms only. Every single passenger or crew cabin has its own bathroom we can enter, turn on the lights, open the toilet lid, and spin the shower valve. Even though none of them have anything in them, every single bathroom on the boat has unique textures and bespoke bathtub models. It's a truly bizarre use of game budget for the sake of realism in a game that's about time travel and demons. Like, you don't understand. If this video could tolerate being 10 minutes longer, I would give you a tour of 25 different bathrooms on this boat. Anyway, let's visit the bar. I can see why these men like to drink so much. I personally would be spending all my free time in an Edwardian luxury piano bar if I had access to one. They've got a freaking polar bear rug. This is class. Echo Knight refreshingly doesn't have a piano puzzle. All we have to do here is mix up Ed's favorite drink, taking the recipe from the one painting with Ed's initials on it. We also grab our first claim ticket, which I thought was going to be a clothing claim ticket for a fancy suit, but it's for gambling.
What the hell? I can't taste a thing. I guess there is no need for a drink when you're dead.
By quenching Rob's thirst with his late friend's favorite drink, he yields his astral piece and one of the 4 gold medals we need to #FreeEd, and direct us towards some haunted-ass twins and an air vent for the other 3. I guess I could have just said twins. Haunted is implied.
Don't come any closer. Just turn around and leave. Go!
But what if we don't obey that? Oh, got it. That was my bathroom's got demons in it, don't come any closer. Not I just don't want to talk to you, don't come any closer. Oddly, the door across the hallway seems to be shutting as we exit this room. And that room is a perfect reflection of the one we were just in. Lights don't turn on here either.
You've met my younger sister, Diana, right? Everything is the same. Everything is the same between us two.
Ah, classic twin behavior. Of course, being twins means you've got to talk the same, dress the same, and when you go on cruise ships, you've got to wire up everything in your room so her door opens when your door opens, and moving furniture in your room to block your bathroom also moves the furniture in her room to block her bathroom. Logic. Saving Diana from her bathroom demon scores an astral piece and a gold medal, and saving Diana's soul saves Fiona's soul.
Oh, that blue stone. It's the same as what Kreia had. So you must have been the one Kreia was waiting for.
Wait, Kreia is waiting for us? That girl from the train? Do you know her? Is she on the ship? Well, that's 3 medals. The final one is in the vents if we do the game's third and final furniture moving puzzle, which comes immediately after the second. It's quite a distance down the vents to reach the medal. Along the way, we can peer into the room below. It's a lost soul. It's Ed, standing over a broken glass case, empty. Dunk the 4 medals, and the shelf slides to grant us access to that same room.
I saw it happen in that room. I saw the birth of a demon. I lost my mind completely.
I'm sorry, the birth of a demon? Yes, that would send me into psychosis too. Rest in peace, Ed. Well, the rest of the hallway is cleared. All that remains is to enter the room that drove Ed to madness. Predictably, the cursed room contains a demon, that girl who's been harassing us all game. This time, instead of giggling and chasing us, she whips up the furniture, daring us to reach for the light switch on the far side of the room. The doors open and slam, and the chandelier swings above. If you look closely, there's a tiny little Sia. It almost feels like the demon is guarding something, and she's doing a great job. Moving forward would only get us killed, so we'd better give up.
That girl really isn't here. I can hear her cries coming from within a deep, dark hole. She wants someone to find and free her soul.
This empathetic king is Oscar Rockwell, Krea's baby brother. Sadly, it looks like he doesn't survive the events aboard the ship. Oscar whooshes us away to try and pacify the demon girl, much like we've been helping the peaceful ghosts already. The scene is an abandoned gold mine owned by the Rockwell family. Not a safe place for a little girl to be, though for us, the mine is downright cozy. We've got a series of danger-free minecart puzzles to solve before we reach a rope ladder leading even further down, where one man slaves away in darkness. This is Jimmy Tender. Want a Jimmy Tender heart in a blender? Apparently, the gold mine got shut down suddenly under false pretense of being empty. But in reality, it was shut down after several people went missing in the mines, including Jimmy's daughter, who snuck in here to play. This is her doll, Claudia's doll. After a minute, Jimmy breaks through the rocks to find his daughter's lifeless body entombed, a body that looks awful familiar. With Claudia's doll in hand, whoosh back to the Orpheus and return intrepid to the cursed room where we offer the child some comfort.
My doll. Father gave this to me.
And just like that, the demon is purged. It was the ghost of a little girl after all, one who must have been killed by William's red stone magic in the gold mine. And then worse, her spirit was intentionally brought aboard the ship, as we saw on the dock scene earlier. Claudia was enslaved by William and forced to kill other passengers like Ed and most of the other shades we've met so far. But not all of them. That demon from the twins' bathroom is still around the ship somewhere. Beyond Claudia's room is what we need to advance the game. Lying atop the elaborate bed is a gentleman's dress suit. Exactly what we need to... That was no demon. A human being just knocked us out. We wake up in the infirmary in low health but alive. Whoever that was didn't want us dead, just slowed down. But I guess our next puzzle hub is not the dining area after all.
What poison? I don't know anything.
This is the ship's doctor, Thomas Gusset. He's racked with guilt after William poisoned his son Arthur to death using a prescription the doctor wrote. And we're locked in here with him. All we can interact with is his cabinet, which whooshes us to the doctor's terrestrial office on the Rockwell estate. This is the first time we can fail a whoosh scenario if we touch the wrong things and get kicked out by the ornery doctor, but we are allowed to try again. But the puzzle we have to solve here lightly sucks, cause we're only meant to wait for the doctor to leave his office. We can't wait within the whoosh though, we have to wait aboard the Orpheus, which doesn't make the most sense. You see, Echo Knight is running a real-time clock that tracks the time of day. An in-game hour passes by in a few minutes of real time. I think the clock is mostly a factor in our rating at the end of the game, but there are a couple of times during the game that the time of day matters. Dr. Gusset has his office hours posted on the Orpheus, and if we sit here in 1913 until 5 p.m.,
It's time.
then the doctor in the past is gone from his lab too. But there's no such concept of time in the past. Make it make sense. As soon as we're not observed in the past, grab the poison prescription from Gusset's desk, then show that to him on the Orpheus.
That's Sir William's.
And we can leave. But go quickly. The demon woman from Diana's bathroom attacks in the dark hallway where the light switch is not working. This is a kind of commercial area on the ship, home to the doctor's office, a movie theater, and the casino we've been finding claim tickets for. It's been a while since we visited the vendor dimension, so I cashed in some astral pieces for holy waters through a sun plaque in the theater. We might need the healing soon, given the broken lights in the area. But otherwise, there's no benefit to making incremental visits to the vendor. Saving every single shade aboard the Orpheus and turning in all 26 astral pieces unlocks more endings for the game, but there's no benefit to coming here sooner unless you're short on heals. Up in the projector room, grab a vinyl record and meet the projectionist, Scott Garboard.
He should be here by now.
And down in the theater, this is where the not-so-friendly doctor fled to.
I killed Sir Arthur.
There's another claim ticket in here, then brave the haunted hallway again and try another door.
Welcome to Casino Orpheus.
I'm gonna save the casino until the end of the game, but I should explain why. So there are 3 optional souls to save in here. The manager, the blackjack dealer, and the roulette dealer. We can save them by winning big in the casino, but that's much easier if we get a head start through claim tickets.
Here, I'll exchange 20 chips for it.
Gambling here can be tricky, so I do want to come here later with more tickets for a bigger head start. Although, if we speak to the manager again now, he has advice about the lights in the hallway.
I believe that there should be another switch around there. Why don't you try looking for it?
There's the way to turn them on? Sure would be nice to move around the area without a demon lady casting ghost projectiles at us. Let's find that hidden switch. Turns out it's the one dark light bulb along this hallway among the panels of constellation art. That doesn't handle the demon permanently, but it did get her out of this hallway. She leaves behind a nasty pool of poison, though, blocking our path. But with the woman gone, a little boy peeps out.
I saw it. Grandpa William stabbed Mr. Arthur.
Hold on, William stabbed Arthur? I thought he poisoned him. Maybe the doctor didn't hurt Arthur after all. Also, this boy called William Grandpa, but I think that was a translation error. Like, maybe he just called him Old Man in Japanese or something. Because the dossier calls this boy Fred Moulding, not Rockwell, and there's a whole wing of the ship reserved for the Rockwell family that Fred and his mom don't have a room in. Well, let's help this kid find his mom. Step into the FNAF-ass nursery. Seriously, look how cursed the art is in here. The floor is cuter, though. It has all my favorite characters like Timu Metapod, California Raisin, Worm with Legs, and Tambourine Man smoking a stogie. I also thought this woman was a sim for a second, the way that green light spins over her head.
Where did my son go?
By playing the record we picked up, we can guide Fred to his mama, freeing both of their souls, and a chest in the same room yields a film and some random gear. Then run that film to the projectionist, who spins it up for us before departing. The movie starts out as a black and white slapstick bit, then transitions into a haunting vision. It's Sir William Rockwell pursuing his son Arthur and wife Hilda into a room and stabbing them dead with his red knife. And that's a room we recognize. That's the red hallway from the Orpheus. William has been actively hunting people aboard the ship.
Sir Arthur was with that knife, not the poison.
The doctor is able to rest since we showed him Arthur's death was clearly not caused by that poison prescription he wrote, though he did give William a bunch of poison that was used for something. The doctor poops out a key, which opens a drawer in his office for a bottle of antidote which happens to clear up the green goop left behind when we turn the lights on the demon lady. William Rockwell did poison this woman to death, but the doctor's already in heaven, so no guilt for him, I guess. She's just chopped liver. With the poison gone, we can check out the other end of the hallway and find Succor. Our comforting red halls were right above us this whole time. Only now we're in possession of a dress suit. That makes the steward admit us to a new area. You might recognize the exact corner where we saw William stab Arthur and Hilda, and head into the dining room to meet those two in person. Dead person.
I am Arthur Rockwell.
I'm Hilda Rockwell.
You should have already witnessed the reason we are here. Our father, William, the Red Knife, that is how it all began.
Within one generation, Father was able to make our family filthy rich. And that was all done after he obtained that red stone knife.
Our father was a cold person to begin with.
I could see, Father was slowly converting to evil. Yes, it was as if that red stone possessed him.
We were terrified, so we both were planning on killing him on this ship. But our father was thinking the same. He tried to kill us and succeeded because of that knife.
So, our dad is not the only person conspiring to stop William. The Red Stone has earned William enemies within his own family, but so far he's seen every conspiracy coming and always manages to get the better of his opposition. Arthur whooshes us back to a castle in the distant past to witness the origins of the Red Stone, at least as far as Echo Knight tracks it. The year is 1469. Rain pounds down as we wander an old English castle. Two guards named Pole and Paddle, resembling a certain leather armor-wearing, spear-wielding vagabond from the broader FromSoft universe, block us from visiting the king, so we can only go the other way. Past another guard lying openly slain, we can step onto the balcony to witness the origin of Rockwell family sin and power. The king of wherever this is, King Andrew Gallywood, has his back to the edge, pressured by a threatening mercenary. Calling for his guards won't do any good. The real guards have been slain. Those men who blocked us were actually thugs in disguise, paid off by this man. A man who learned the secret of the king's rise to power. How could a commoner become king? Perhaps it was the fateful influence of a certain red stone. As the king dies, he issues a warning. Fate will give you what it has given me. Meaning, I presume, a violent betrayal and desire of his power. The mercenary holds aloft a glowing red stone taken from the king and reveals his name, Alan Rockwell. Dang. So the red knife isn't something William just happened upon. It's been in his family for 468 years, its power keeping their family wealthy, influential, and virile, all for the price of a few murders here and there. But the dying king predicted the downfall of the Rockwells. Destiny, the Blue Stone, our father, and the space vendor all seem to have colluded to bring us here to end the Rockwell legacy of murder. But will we be able to resist becoming a villain ourselves? We're getting close to reaching William, but we need 4 stone plates to open a special door. That's our next big area puzzle. And
She will kill you if she finds you. Try to divert her attention.
we'll want to take Hilda's advice too. Arthur gave us one of the plates to the door. Maybe the other 3 are upstairs. Nope. The poisoned woman is up here, spitting out hauntings like a portal turret. Hilda said to distract her. Pretty convenient then that there's a mechanical crow down here that we can fix with that gear from the nursery. Phew, we gooped her again. But there's no more antidote to clean this puddle. We just gotta kinda step around this one. It's like if the cat puked, but we're already late for work, and our roommate's gonna be home in 10 minutes anyway, so we just pretend we don't see it and make it somebody else's problem. Now, Echo Knight is mostly a fair game, but we do need to go downstairs right now and steal the gear back from the crow for a later puzzle. Discovering you need this later when you didn't grab it could be a major bummer. Then, beyond Goop Puddle 2 are 2 doors. One of them leads out to nothing. Well, there's a sun plaque, but besides that, it's just glorious aesthetic PS1 rainstorm. I could sincerely spend an hour watching this and be happy. Look for my Echo Knight ASMR channel coming soon. The other door leads to a narrow gray hallway. This is the pool area. Through the locker room to the pool, there's some suspicious large item we can't reach while the pool is full, so head through to the aft deck where...
I died. That midnight, the moon was stained blood red.
Hey, don't we know this boy? It's the one who whooshed us to the mine to find Claudia's doll, isn't it? Krea's brother. He hands over a huge ceramic fisheye. Then we can pop down a hatch to reach the lazarette, the super claustrophobic storage area where a vaguely Irish cleaning woman fears punishment for breaking Sir William's mechanical parrot.
It won't move.
Luckily, we brought that gear from the crow along. And listen, I had to hear this parrot's voice, so I'm making you perceive it too. It's integral to the Echo Knight experience.
Do you want it? Do you want it? Go find it! Go find it!
It being one of the plates we're collecting. We're whooshed to the final days of the year 1910, about 3 years prior to Orpheus events, in a dark cemetery. Light snow falls over green grass, Echo Knight again nailing the vibes. We're greeted with a gravestone puzzle we could waste our time deciphering, but with only 3 buttons, brute forcing the solution takes like 40 seconds in the worst case before we're admitted to a larger tomb. Just don't talk to the cemetery keeper. Carlos Recess. I love these names, man. Or you'll get de-whooshed and have to listen to the parrot again. Inside the tomb, it's grim. Large bloodstains paint the walls and prison bars section off other passages. This isn't a place of rest, it's a slaughterhouse. Upon reaching a dead end, someone calmly catches up to us. It's a face we know, but who doesn't recognize us quite yet. This is William Rockwell in the flesh. William is mad that we've intruded on his privacy and corrals us toward the exit. He opens the way using a fish plate that we need. Let me just that out the wall and bring it along. Then this should be the exit. That's not good. There seems to be a murdered woman over here. I'm guessing she was poisoned based on her resemblance to a certain demon. We can grab her pendant that jumps into our hands as William closes in from behind. It seems that William likes to lure people down here and do black magic with their souls, and we've just offered him a buy one get one deal. He advances with the cursed knife in hand, slowly and calmly, knowing that we're trapped in here with him. But he doesn't realize we stole that fish plate. And with some clever fish navigation, we're able to find a real exit and get de-whooshed, 2 plates of the 4 now in hand. But that's not all we acquired. The pump room off the lazarette is threatened by the demon woman, whom we now recognize as the woman William lured to his crypt.
Pendant. Our lost memories.
If there's one place the writing in Echo Knight disappoints me, it's here. Unlike with Claudia, we never get this woman's name or her backstory. Who was her husband? How did they get separated? Why did she follow William into the crypt? All we get is our memories. But with her gone, we can drain the pool, which lets us place that ceramic fisheye in its socket, which... Hold on, what do you think is going to happen here? A secret door opens? Get another key item? Maybe we put the Rockwell boys' soul to rest? Raise your hand if you were betting on the eye reflecting the red moonlight to project a hologram of a library. And naturally, we're whooshed into it. It is a bright, fancy library set only a few years in the past. I believe we're on the Rockwell estate again, same as the doctor's office scene from earlier. The tension of the past few frightening areas is broken here with a tonally lighthearted puzzle about tricking librarians to move around and gain some privacy in order to pick up a very important, untitled blue book. Just like the one young Kreia Rockwell held in her arms on the fateful train ride 38 years ago. Or like 12-ish years before the current scene. Shall we give this thing a read? I have here a very interesting legend. It speaks of 2 stones that can change one's destiny. The red stone was said to be a container that held the power to change destiny. The holder of the stone could mold destiny to their liking by sacrificing the lives of people. Once the holder of the stone obtains its power, they have the ability to rule kingdoms and obtain great wealth. The legend speaks a little of the blue stone. The blue stone is said to exist as the opposite of the red stone. The legend also mentions a few rules to follow in order to maintain a strong destiny. One of the rules is not to sacrifice too many lives to the red stone. Another of the rules is never to combine the blue stone with the red stone. It is unknown what fate will bring upon us when these rules are broken. There is not a single mention of its aftermath. Well, I think it's safe to foreshadow that making the stones kiss can make boats go missing. What I want to call attention to, though, is what might it mean for the blue stone to exist as the opposite to the red stone? All we've seen it do is maybe spare Henry's life aboard that train before he handed it to Kreia. But we hold the second half of it now thanks to Space Mufasa. Is it possible if we found Kreia that a reunited blue stone could break the red stone's curse for good? You know how when you reach a branching path in a video game, and you take path B, but in the back of your mind you're still thinking about path A the whole time, and the further you get down path B, you wonder and worry about all the content you're missing, until you finally come back and try path A, and discover that it wouldn't have been open until now anyway? That was the Echo Knight kitchen for me. Or galley, whatever. Get over yourself, ships.
My crew is down there.
Like Captain Capstan, the first mate is only going to be put to rest after we save his direct reports. His crew is located down the dumbwaiter on the lowest crew deck. So take a ride down to a smaller galley down below where... Oh geez. Having smoked Claudia and the poisoned woman, our newest and largest demon op is the old king himself, and he's terrifying. The king has a strong gravity pulling us in, and his face unhinges in the most loathsome Leviathan way to attack once we're close. We cannot fight back, and there's no light switch, but once we're backed into a corner...
So you've come all this way. My soul has been uneasy ever since I sent you that letter. I'm no longer the same person I was when I first met that girl. The red stone. William, what have I come this far for?
Thanks for the save, Dad, but does he seem weird to you? Aside from the fact that his left arm is missing, he wasn't even happy to see us, nor really upset. Which is weird, because if we remember back to when we first got on the ship, Henry had warned us not to come down here, down below. Maybe Henry's fight against the darkness cost more than he expected.
I wonder what he's doing. I wish he'd come here quick.
So, we're on the crew deck now, one level above the engines. This is the toughest puzzle hub all game, and to make things worse, the lights won't turn on, and we're being hunted by the king. We might as well start trying doors. That patrolman we met, Mike Transom, is waiting for his shift change who has not shown up yet. His relief, Charlie Girder, is sitting on his bunk instead of relieving Mike, fretting over some radio bands he's supposed to memorize.
It's useless.
The key to lighting a fire under Charlie's butt is to set his alarm clock to ring. And this clock looks like it'll be a whole puzzle, but we can actually just interact with one dial and that handles the rest of it for us. Then while Charlie's getting up to snooze his alarm, we can nab his study sheet, which...
I have to go.
That's enough to relieve Mike. Across the hall is another worried sailor, the electrician Robert Danforth. But the electric room is locked with a combination, whose key is in one of these lockers. It's a bit of a logic puzzle getting them open, but once we find the key...
I must hurry.
Then Robert runs away. We have not fixed his issues yet. The next rooms over are bathrooms, which... sounds like the king hasn't finished up in here yet. Let's leave him to his throne. Through one door along the side of the ship is a long starboard corridor with lovely fish imagery out the portholes. Makes me want to wash my hands in the 90s. The confused electrician is still struggling with his combo lock.
1, 6, 8, 9. The numbers should be right.
Which it turns out he's just holding upside down. The real combo is not 1689, but 6891. I only have a hard time believing the combo is written down on the note sans serif, considering the time period. Like, even the lock has a serif on the number 1. Well, past that hard-to-believe door, Robert clears a pipe, opening a Dark Souls shortcut back to that fuse box hallway from the very start of the game, and... jump scare warning. The king crashing the lights scared me so bad. With the king pulling us in, duck into the only door along the hallway, which happens to be the electrical room. Then simply flip the only circuit breaker that's off to on, and power is restored to the crew deck. This is Mothy looking too deeply for environmental storytelling where it might not exist, but I think William turned the lights off. William brought the demons on board his ship and sabotaged the lights to allow them to clean house in an act of mass sacrifice to power up his red stone to change destiny, I think. It's a story beat that's explored more in the sequel games. But for now, just remember how the Blue Book cautioned against sacrificing too many lives to the Red Stone. I definitely think an entire boat's worth counts as too many lives. It's a hint that William's greed may be the key to his undoing. With the lights on, the replacement patrolman can rest easy, and we can check out those bathrooms. All they have is a soggy casino ticket on the stall floor, but hey, $20 is $20. There's another small hallway at the front of the ship with a few more souls to save. This poor engineer, Martin Backstaff, is off duty and wants to get some sleep, but he's being kept awake by noises from the control room, which, if we check it... yeah, that's noises. But it's also Morse code beeping out C-R-E-A. The operator is trying to reach Kreia. With the power on, we can set the radio station to the emergency band found in the notes we stole from Charlie a while ago. Then if we beep out Kreia on the telegraph...
My sister Kreia's been waiting a long time.
Once again, it's Kreia's little brother, Oscar, whooshing us to a cathedral on the narrow gray streets of... maybe Anchor City? Looks European. The only thing we can do inside is walk up to the organ loft and plink out the tune from that music box, which slides open the altar like an old QWERTY phone, revealing a ladder down to a long, long spiral staircase. And at the bottom of that staircase, it's another staircase. And at the bottom of that staircase, you might think it's a third staircase, but nope, it's Kreia, grown up and kept in jail by her grandfather. She's understandably despondent at first, but neat and well-clothed. I wouldn't think she's been down here for too long. Kreia doesn't recognize us, thinking we've been sent by William to kill her, until we play her brother's music box. Then, a spark of hope and recognition. Kreia realizes she's met us before, 14 years prior, on the train. She was only 5 years old then, but we would have looked the same as we do now. even been dressed the same if we ignore that I'm technically still wearing that dress suit. She doesn't know that the man who gave her half the blue stone was our father, but we have the second half of that stone now. Kreia has been doing lifelong research on the red and blue stones ever since that day on the train, and she thinks we can destroy the red stone using the completed blue one. But sadly, she no longer holds the blue stone half that our father gave her. William found it and confiscated it sometime in the past, but after this meeting with us, Kreia promises to get it back for us, even if it costs her life. We're given an earring to pass on to her brother, then de-wooshed.
My sister and you have met. Destiny has taken another course.
Destiny is calling me. Open up my eager eyes. The red stone may be able to sculpt destiny to fill man's greedy wishes, but the blue stone has been letting us do time magic to save people. Now, forgive me a tangent, but this is important. The power over life via the red ring and the power over time via the blue ring is a major theme of FromSoft's 2018 PlayStation VR exclusive game Deracine, directed by Hidetaka Miyazaki. I have a detailed video on that game as well that I'd encourage you to check out after this one. There are a stunning amount of parallels. Now, Miyazaki didn't work at FromSoft when Echo Knight was developed and wouldn't for many years, but I think it's lovely to see how the company has its own internal lore and themes that they've been reusing since the 90s into the present day, even as design leads change. This red and blue dichotomy works its way into the Souls games through the Tearstone rings. Patches recurs in various forms like Cid does across the Final Fantasies, and even the elaborate shortcuts back to earlier areas through one-way doors are something FromSoft has been consistent about since Echo Knight in 1998 and even earlier with the Kingsfields. But yeah, Echo Knight feels like a direct ancestor to Deracine. Okay, Kreia's earring finally rested Oscar's soul and got us a plate for that door. Getting Oscar to stop playing with the telegraph in turn gets the engineer some sleep, and that was the final crew member who needed saving, meaning the first mate can now rest as well. He drops our final plate, granting us access to William Rockwell himself.
Use the plates.
Using the plates puts to rest the souls of Arthur and Hilda Rockwell.
Please, seal that stone forever.
And we're into the Rockwell private quarters, the final puzzle hub of the game. This section is neither long nor difficult, but it does still have the Demon King guarding it. The 4 suites in this hallway are the quarters of William's children. They all have delightful themes too, based on the plates we used to get in here. First, let's visit the undersea room that belonged to Arthur and Hilda, whom we saw murdered for conspiring to kill William. There's a key in here which opens a clock back out in the hallway, and their elaborate bathroom, which the developers put way too much work into, has a pirate ship tub and a scallop sink. Next, we'll try the Deep Woods themed room and meet Amelia, Arthur's younger sister.
My name is Amelia. I am Arthur's younger sister.
Amelia feels a little more neutrally toward her father's redstone power-hungry behavior. She opposes it in theory, but not enough to take action against him like Arthur did. Amelia was pretty close to William's other son, Jack, whom we meet in the next suite. This suite has a grungy New York theme. It's giving the other world.
Our family would have been finished were it not for that red stone.
This is Jack Rockwell, who saw what the red stone provided for their family and turned a blind or even a supportive eye to William's crimes. We'll call it crimes. Showing him a photograph that Amelia gave us is enough to put Jack to rest. The guilty sure sleep easy. Jack's bathroom has a foul aura, but there is a casino ticket to grab on his bed. And the 4th room, which we now have access to by setting the hallway clock, was meant for William's final son. That would be Kreia's father, whom I believe is unnamed. Photographs line the walls of a young family, Kreia, brother Oscar, and their parents, before she ever went on that fateful train ride with William. Note the theme of airships in their photos, only because Echo Knight 2 prominently features a blimp named the Eurydice, who was the wife that Orpheus failed to retrieve from the underworld. But that's a story for another time. Do please comment if you'd like to see further Echo Knight coverage on the channel though. As far as this game, it's my assumption that Kreia's parents died in an airship disaster when she was little, because that would explain how she ended up in William's care in the first place. Then that would make this Kreia's room, not her parents technically, and it would imply that she's still alive somewhere, at least at the time of construction of the Orpheus. The only conspicuous color painting in this room whooshes us to that castle in 1469 again, just moments after Alan Rockwell slew the king. The king's body, slumped down just how the poisoned woman's was in the crypt, drops a cameo of his daughter, also like how that woman dropped her pendant. These Rockwell murders sure have a tendency to drop precious heirlooms when you nudge the corpse a little.
Eleanor, my daughter.
We offer the king his cameo, and just like that, the king is restored. That's the 3 main demons of the Orpheus now all dispelled, and nothing stops us from walking in to meet William Rockwell in the flesh.
My journey has finally come to an end. Destiny shifted its course from the instant I held the red stone. With these hands, I have taken the lives of many innocent people. And what was it that I tried to achieve? I can't remember anything anymore. That girl, Kreia, was waiting for you. She was fighting for both you and your father. Take a look.
This glimpse of the past must take place soon after we visited that church jail and Kreia escaped to get back the blue stone. It seems like she did get it, but William hired an assassin to chase her down. And right as the assassin is closing on her, a sudden earthquake pins him under a heavy shelf. Just like the blue stone saved our father from William's bullet, it saves Kreia. But the shock also made Kreia drop her gun, and as she stumbles away, I guess there's a bit of a cooldown on blue stone's saving power.
Claire is no more. Everything is already in the past. But you might be able to change it.
That's some change of heart. William, in his dying state, has done a complete 180 and wants the redstone destroyed, conveniently after our father took it from him. Is this a lust for vengeance for William, or could he really have been a good man underneath the weight of the redstone? Usually in stories, you see greedy artifacts play on underlying vices in men. Think of the ring corrupting Boromir over his need to prove his strength. But if the redstone knife exhibits overwhelming dominance over even good men, then I'm a little worried about our father. Sweeping that under the rug for now, though, William, with his newfound conscience, whooshes us back to the scene we just witnessed, but this time in the flesh. This time, we can save Kreia. If we grab this bullet off the table, then the gun should be empty when the hitman goes to shoot her. When Kreia bursts in the door, she's of course amazed to see us. First, the train at 5 years old, then the cathedral, age 18, and now again months later. From her perspective, we're blinking in and out of her life at key moments with the purpose of passing the blue stone between father and son through her. As before, the cabinet pins the assassin, but when he tries to shoot Kreia this time, there's no bullet chambered. We did it. Just kidding. Second assassin. William is too professional to only send one hitman, and the second guy carries a huge machine gun. Kreia hands over the stone, but the man betrays his word not to shoot us and takes aim anyway. But the brave girl, in a final act of sacrifice, shields us with her body, getting lit up like a Christmas tree before tackling the assassin to both of their deaths and popping the blue stone back to us. The stone is finally complete at great cost. Rest in peace, Kreia. And also William, I guess. We did see how strong and terrible of an effect the redstone has on its bearer. Brought into the Rockwell bloodline when Alan slew the king hundreds of years ago, and only relieved of it now when our father Henry has done the same to you. It's just as the king said, fate will give you what it has given me. Well, with William now dead, Amelia is at peace, and with the assembled blue stone, we're ready to go destroy the red one once and for all. Or we could go gambling. I know the casino gets a lot of salt from Echo Knight players, but I don't think it's really that bad. By waiting until the endgame, we have a bunch of extra claim tickets, which gives us a nice head start. Let's just cash those in and...
You seem to have plenty of chips.
Turns out the manager will only take your tickets if you've got less than 80 chips, so waiting until the endgame didn't help that much. Though if we do go totally broke, those extra tickets would let us claw back in the game without having to reload. So, I would say save your game first, then visit the casino in the early afternoon in game time if you can, because they kick you out at 6 a.m. if you haven't cleared it yet, and you'd have to sit in the hall until it opens again. To save the 3 casino employees' souls, we have to win big at blackjack, but blackjack is not even unlocked at the start.
What do you want? You're not worthy of sitting here yet. Come back later.
To earn our right to play blackjack, we can gamble at a slot machine that sucks and isn't fun, or play roulette. Now, I don't think it's an amount of chips that we need to hold in order to play blackjack. I think it's just based on gross winnings. We could lose most of our money as long as we win something like 150 chips total across spins. So I just covered 2/3 of the board with maxed out corner bets. As long as the ball doesn't land on a multiple of 3, we get like 80 chips back, and we only have to win a couple of these bets to move on.
The game is blackjack.
Once we've proven we know ball, we're allowed to play blackjack. They start us off with 100 chips at the blackjack table, no matter how many we held beforehand, and we need to reach 200 chips to win the whole casino. Now, y'all don't need a rundown on how blackjack works from me, especially because I was learning basic strategy myself as I was filming this, but a couple of things make Echo Night Blackjack unique. For one, the dealer hits on 16, which is slightly worse for the player. There's no splitting of pairs allowed, but we can double down on any hands. And we can take insurance, but it works a little differently here. What it does is automatically forfeit the hand, but we claw back half of our bet. I usually took insurance when I had a weak hand in the 13 to 17 range, if the dealer was showing an ace, 10, or 9, since that means they had strong odds to beat me. I will admit, I had to reset my game once before I searched up a strategy table and started actually making correct plays, but if you play smartly, the game isn't too stingy about letting you win here. Once we hit 200 chips, the dealer concedes, and all 3 casino employees sugar ray it and fade away. The other souls we put to rest aboard the Orpheus all needed some kind of kindness or favor done for them, but these casino employees were chilling. The way I see it, their unfinished business was tied to ripping off their players with bad house odds. One patron finally winning big was enough to assuage their guilt and let the casino staff finally rest in peace. Those were the final 3 astral pieces, so let's turn those into the vendor. I hand him the remaining astral pieces in one lump sum to unlock some serious plot development.
Must have been tough collecting this many. This will be enough. By the way, have you ever had any doubts about why I am so interested in collecting these things? I'll show you the answer to that question. This is the rock of all miracles. It has the power to grant you any wish. The greatest treasure of mankind. It is the devil's red stone. This stone belongs to you. We shall meet again when your fate with the other red stone comes to an end. When that time comes, we shall meet again.
This explains so much. This vendor is the source of red stones, and probably of blue ones. He turns astral pieces into stones, their purple color not a coincidence, but the combination of red and blue. I would not be surprised if the old king, Andrew Gallywood, completed similar business with the vendor back in the 1400s to secure his rise to royalty. So, is the vendor a bad guy? Is he Satan? There are certainly parallels. Temptation of man is a heavy theme. As far as his travels and the quota of astral pieces he mentioned trying to hit, we could even accuse the vendor of farming strife among humans in order to cash in on the resulting astral pieces. Handing out the red and blue stones could be like planting a field, and he's very happy to accept the harvest we gather for him. Echo Night is not conclusive on the vendor's identity or motivations, but they give us a lot of room to wonder. Anyway, there's now 2 red knives in existence. The vendor holds the new one for now, but we can do something about the original. Definitely save your game before heading to the engine room, both because it's possible to mess up and die, and because there are multiple endings coming that we want to enjoy.
Richard, come over here.
The voice of our dad. Except, it's not really our dad anymore, is it? We know what happens to holders of the red knife. This area is terrifying to me personally. Huge old machinery, pipes, and steam was always a big phobia for me. I mentioned this briefly in the area of Silent Hill 2 that has a bunch of this junk, but we need way more mechanophobia horror games. There's still only like Amnesia 2 and that's it. Indie devs, do your thing. At the very back of the ship.
I finally understand now, Richard. I realized it the moment I killed William and got hold of the red stone. I had the strongest desire for this power all along. I will become one with this power.
The blue stone, even it shall succumb to my powers in this darkness. There is no light here. Not even you or your blue stone will survive.
First, amazing voice work. Gradually becoming more evil as the lines went on was a work of art. Dad collapses and a new demon is now pursuing us through the area. But it's not Henry, it's the knife's latest victim, William.
You mustn't leave this alone. Hurry. Bring light.
Kreia? In a high-pressure situation, we're racing to get the lights turned on as William's ghost menacingly floats at us, following us from screen to screen. Going through doorways no longer saves us, breaking pattern from the rest of the game. Our goal is to turn on the emergency lights. Those should pop on if we can overload the pistons, or whatever you do to pistons, and to do so we need a valve and a key. The valve is in a storeroom at the front of the ship, chilling in a corner next to some crates. It's a devious spot to make the player check while dodging a ghost. That makes this a good time to mention. The game has options for walk speed and turn speed. It's mostly for quality of life, though you could make this section much easier if you boosted both. Personally, I found the game's walk speed perfect, but turn speed was pretty slow, so I've been playing with regular walk speed and higher turn speed, and I'm content with that. You can also toggle off the gigantic crosshair, but you'll have to pry that out of my cold, dead hands. Echo Knight is its gigantic crosshair. For real though, it makes it a lot easier to pick up items and hit light switches. The piston key is on the wall a few screens later, then we have to spin the valve to turn on the piston stewards before we revisit each side of the ship to turn the key and break the running pistons. Then with the pistons broken in two places, the emergency lights come on and William's ghost is banished. There's still an evil stone hovering above our dad, though. The Blue Book said joining the stones could be dangerous, but Kreia told us we should go for it, so here goes nothing.
The power to change destiny. Gone. Forever.
Our dad is back to normal the instant we dissolve the red stone, and we now have 99 seconds to reach the front of the boat. Henry said the ship won't last long, which is a warning, but also a historical fact. The ship does canonically disappear, and he knows it. I think Henry realizes we've put that in motion when we combine the stones. Now, if you didn't save all 26 passengers and crew aboard the Orpheus, the walk to the front of the ship is uneventful. The timer is not really much pressure. But because we did,
I've come, as I have promised.
It's that French cosmic devil come to deliver us the new red stone he recently forged with our astral pieces.
I told you that I would come, didn't I, Richard? Behold, you stand before the most omnipotent power man has ever witnessed. The power to shape your fate to your desire with your very own hands. Here, take it with you.
I mean, it would be rude to turn it down after he made it just for us and came all the way here.
Richard, I wonder what you'll wish for. I can hardly wait.
Then, Kreia's friendly ghost is waiting at the front of the ship to send us home.
This ship's life is coming to an end. Come.
Kreia canonically died from that gunman, not on the boat, but I guess via the blue stone. Did she get whooshed into the ship? That's the only explanation I have for how she's here in spiritual form.
Go home now. Everything is over.
The ship gets raptured in a column of light. This is how the Orpheus disappeared. It wasn't sunk, it got beamed up to boat heaven. That's what happens when the two stones are joined. Everyone on board was already dead, so it turns out the disappearance of the Orpheus wasn't quite the tragedy that history recorded it as. Then finally back in the present day, we're woken up as from a daydream by the policeman. He didn't find any clues about our dad's disappearance, and neither did we, right? But our inventory isn't quite empty. And as we go to leave, The Echo Knight credits play, culminating in a rating. How did we only score 143 for secrets? I was pretty thorough on this run. There are 3 other endings to Echo Knight, but I actually like this first one the most. It's a comment on passing down generational trauma, as well as how difficult it can be to do good in the world. And from a purely horror perspective, the knife ending shows how humanity isn't as free as it thinks. There's a dark-skinned, whiskey-voiced, blind French space demon pulling the strings of fate. This ending leaves things the most open for a sequel, since now I want to go stop him, and it does feel a little bit Bloodborne-y the way an extraterrestrial force is influencing man. Of course, we're gonna watch the other 3 endings too. If we're a good son and we take a spot on the floor in our dad's bleed-out spot, failing to reach the front of the boat in time, the boat still gets raptured, and the player gets a newspaper article about our dad's arson case and disappearance. The article notes that we disappeared too, and the case goes unsolved but is closed. And this ending is somehow worth 13 higher secret score? What the hell? Ending 3 is the best ending you can get without saving all 26 passengers and crew. If we rush to the front of the ship and don't get a visit from the vendor, Kreia still sends us home. We follow the policeman outside, and we don't have a knife this time. But the officer has trouble starting his car. So he has us grab the tools out of the trunk, where we find... the knife found us anyway. This ending really emphasizes the vendor's meddling in fate. For all that the books and legends say about the stones letting men change their fate, it seems like ownership of those stones in the first place has been decided for us by something else. And the final ending is what you'd call the good ending. Rush to the front of the ship, do meet the vendor, but walk away when offered the knife.
You don't need this?
Strange. You are indeed a strange man. It is goodbye, then. I pray that you have a bright future ahead of you.
Meet Kreia, boat raptured, no policeman killed, then we're back in our own house in the present day in possession of Oscar's music box. As we play it, we reminisce on Kreia and recall some thoughts she must have been pondering about the ordeal. Was that cursed incident and all of our pain and suffering caused by fate? Reminisce on the stone and the many people you saved. We did save a lot of people. There's a sad montage of Kreia's life and the many times we saved her despite ultimately failing. Then the blue gem shines with a gleam of red, ominous, and I'm sorry, but the signed portrait of Kreia Rockwell is a highly corny note to end the game on. It's like the whole game was just Kreia's diary. It's giving so long and thanks for all the fish. So that's Echo Knight 1. Japan only got Echo Knight 2 a year after this one, and the whole world got the third game 5 years later for the PlayStation 2. In very FromSoft fashion, neither of those are true sequels, but pseudo-homage referential retellings of related stories in the universe. I don't have a long outro this time because I already analyzed Fate and the vendor and everything as they came up in the story, so I'll only say thank you for enjoying a game that I love with me. As always, thanks very much to my patrons for supporting the channel, and for you for watching the whole video through. This is a big video to kick off 2026, and I hope you'll stay with me for new content all year long. Do subscribe to catch new videos when they come out. Check out my other channel if you're interested in Mothy covering Pokemon content. And yeah, love you all. Don't accept any red knives while I'm not looking. Mothy out.
It is goodbye, then. I pray that you have a bright future ahead of you.